Hey guys, so around this time of the year, this is like where a lot of people are shopping around for their new reptiles, and also a lot of breeders like me who also look for new reptiles for their new breeding season. We're one of the reptiles that one of our customer ordered from us, and I'm just gonna go over some of the genetic side and also some recommendations and tips and some of the inside information that not many people really share online. So this gecko is going to Texas. It's not local customer, but it is going to the Texas locations, and this gecko is absolutely stunning right here. Obviously, due to the lights, I don't think it's getting the right color, but obviously this one right here is called Raptor. And Raptor, what it is a combination of a triple albino and eclipse. These two are recessive genetics, and one of the common things that we often see from these genetics is that they're very sensitive to the light. So what I mean by sensitive to the light is whenever you have anything that's bright outside, like let's say you're taking them out for a quick walk in your backyard, when it's really bright, they're gonna be very stressed. And also same thing when there is a lot of lights in your rooms. So I suggest you always want to have a light a little bit lower than usual so that these guys are less stressed whenever you're handling. Now one cool thing about this gecko is, I'm not sure if you can see it here, but this gecko has a red eye. And oh boy, yeah, this gecko has a red eye, and this came from the albino, triple albino and eclipse combinations. And this one has a broken marble patterns. This gecko has two genetics, and usually this is he's gonna be a little bit more sensitive compared to other ones because of the lights. But I also find that these leopard gecko morph combinations tends to be popular because they have two common combinations that many people likes to work with. And some of the people usually go with the triple albino because there are more options when it comes to breeding. Now this gecko is very active right now. Great thing about this one is that because of the combinations and the genetics and things like that, their actual color is extremely beautiful. I actually have a real good photos on our website, which it's not available to place an order now because this is sold, but they have an extremely beautiful color, like orange colors when you see them in hand. And also at the same time, the color of the ruby eye is something that a lot of people really like. Now the other side is, which I wouldn't say it's a bad things, but because they're gonna be more sensitive to the lights, obviously I wouldn't suggest to beginners who are not used to leopard geckos at all, or any reptiles at all. Although leopard geckos, they're beginner friendly reptiles and they're very easy to take care of. Usually when they have a sensitive eyes like this, when there's albinos and eclipse together, you won't really able to have a lot of fun compared to the regular normal geckos if you're thinking about doing handling all day long. Now some geckos may not be like that, but just from my experience seeing hundreds, thousands of leopard geckos with this type of genetic combinations, they're gonna be a little bit more sensitive than others. So is it bad? I don't think so. It's just that some people, when they're new to reptiles, obviously they always want to handle them every single day, and these guys are just not the one. And I also suggest not to handle leopard geckos every day in whatsoever, even if you have another genetics or another geckos. When they're outside, they're not going to be getting a lot of great belly heat unless you put them in your hand or arms where you have a great heat. And if that happens a lot of times every single day, then that means they're not going to be able to digest, and that often leads to stress. But it's really case by case, but I'm just giving the fact. Although leopard geckos are one of the easiest and the beginner friendly reptiles that everyone starts from, I would give about 4 out of 5 for the difficulty level in the leopard gecko section, mainly because they have eclipse and albino eyes, and that for anyone who's just getting started. Yeah, you will see these guys jump quite often whenever there's a lot of bright lights. And I'm gonna put this underneath the table where there is no lights. I get this type of question a lot, and I think it is very important for anyone who don't really get a chance to talk to me through locally. So I'm making this video so that you can choose geckos at the shows or stores where you go to. Obviously, one of the things that we always suggest is if you're thinking about breeding them, make sure you get it from the right trusted breeders, because if you're just getting it from Paco or Passma or some of the reptile shops, they typically don't have any genetic background information. So I also see a lot of parents who's reaching out to us through DMs, showing us a photo of their geckos and what their genetic is. But to be honest, it's not possible to just look at the gecko and be able to tell what the genetic, because the recessive lines, there is a visual recessive and there's non-visual recessive, which is called HAT. And if that's the case, then we really have to know the background parents' information in order to define whether they carry recessive line or not. So if you really want to save down the cost, obviously the shipping is going to cost a little bit more when it's getting reptiles, because obviously overall shipping has been increasing a lot nowadays. If you try to reduce a lot of costs for the shipping itself, then I highly recommend looking into local breeders who carries leopard gecko. Obviously, there are a lot of breeders who do have work on different projects, and they often not have the geckos that you might want. So if that's the case, try looking at the morph markets, or if you think you want to try something on our website as well, feel free to visit our website. I'll put it in the description so you can simply go in. But this gecko is called RAPTOR, and it is the combination of Tremper albino and eclipse. I hope this helps, and say goodbye to this guy. Bye bye.